Greetings one and all. I wanted to do a little show about NPCs, non-player characters, because this has been on my mind for quite a while. When I first heard this term, a few years ago now, well, actually no, maybe not that many years ago, but anyway, when I first heard it, it kind of made sense to me. These people that come in who aren't actual living real people, was how it was explained to me at first. They just come in and give you a bit of information to help you on your path. And it's like, well, that sounds good, like special little genies or little angels suddenly appear to help you, but they're not actually involved in living on this earth, so they're non-player characters. That sounded lovely at first, great, but that seems to have inverted into people talking about people that actually do live on this earth, other humans who are not, in their realm, humans, non-player characters. They're just annoyances to test you or here to feed you or whatever. And it felt like they were trying to accuse people that were not helping them or were hindering them as NPCs. They also started treating these NPCs as nobodies. Well, I've been thinking about this a lot and pondering on this and realising that even if NPCs, in their eyes, are just other humans who are here to hinder or interfere with their own life, they're still humans and they still have a soul and they still need help and they're still having their evolutionary path. So they should be treated as we should be treating all people, with kindness and respect, and have time for them. But I wonder if all this NPC talk that I see and hear on the interweb all the time is another way of trying to divide the people, make certain people think, yeah, they're just NPCs, so I'm better than them, I'm higher than them, so I can treat them like shit. I do wonder if it's another way of dividing people, as I say, another way of turning people against each other, because that's what the dark forces want. They want us all at each other's throat, they want us arguing, they want war as well, so they can feed off that negativity, distress, horror, awful things to happen, keep people in fear. They want to feed off that. Well, truth seekers and people that are trying to return to the divine know that it's all about kindness, love, respect, just being at one with each other and recognizing that that person you are looking at is a human being and has a soul in them. Now, I know I've done many shows about how some people are not human beings, but I do think they've been possessed by something. And sometimes you can tell which ones they are. There are a lot of people that are soulless. As Gurdjieff says, people are born with a germ of a soul, and it's whether they develop it or not. But we still have to help them people if we can. We can still give out reach out with a hand to help. But there are people that want to bring us down, to stop us going forward. I wouldn't think of them as non-playing characters because they've obviously got a role, as everyone has a role on this earth, but it's whether they go forward and fulfill it, or as they develop, grow, become from children to adults, they just get caught up in the mechanical way of living. I don't think people that are asleep or these people that live a mechanical life are NPCs. They're just people that didn't develop rightly. They're still worthy of our consideration. They might treat us like NPCs sometimes. I've noticed, which is what this show's really about, really. I've kind of noticed how some people treat me like an NPC. I'm only there for them when they need something, or they want a shoulder to cry on, or they need money. I'm sure you've had people like this, and then you don't hear or see from them for any other reason other than they need something. So they treat me like an NPC. Maybe they see me as a non-player character, but useful when they need something. That's what non-player characters are in these computer games. And it made me think, do I treat anyone like an NPC? Maybe in my past, when I was a young teenager, and we all want what, strive to get what we can because we're trying to live the dream. But I hope that I would have been kind and considerate. Though I know, as I say it, I cringe. There are times when I have treated people wrongly. But the whole point of doing these esoteric Gurdjieff or Rudolf Steiner paths is to help us develop ourselves so that we become a better person inwardly and outwardly. We're looking at our inner self and projecting, hopefully, a better version of ourselves out to the peoples, and any NPCs in quotation marks would perhaps recognise that, see that, and want to imitate that and learn and develop themselves. As I've said in many of my shows, we are supposed to be developing ourselves to develop our own path, our own spiritual path, but we can also be shining lights for those that also feel there's something more to life than being stuck in the rat race, and helping them to find their true path, true destiny. I've been recording, which will be coming up soon, Maurice Nicole's The Mark, where he talks about the parable of the sower, the man that sows the seeds. And as Christ says, many fall to the wayside because they see people or recognise the ancient wisdom, but they don't do anything with it. Then there are people that have no interest in the ancient wisdom, the truth of life, the way to develop themselves. So they don't develop either. But then there are the good seeds that do fall, maybe on hard ground, maybe on soft ground, whatever kind of ground. But the seed takes in all that nourishment because it's taken in the spiritual path, recognises the truth, has the ears to hear and the eyes to see, and thus develops and becomes the strong plant that it should be, which is what we are. And it reminds me of Gurdjieff talking about, we're all acorns. How many acorns fall off a tree? How many of those acorns from that, like hundreds, as you know, fall off a tree? How many of those acorns turn into oak trees themselves? Or how many just rot into the ground? So this is just a show to inspire, I hope, everyone to stay on their path and not give up and become an oak tree, but also to remind everyone, and myself, that we must be kind and considerate and respectful to one and all, and try not to judge these people who are not like us. Don't consider them to be NPCs. I do think this is a plot put out there to try and divide the peoples. NPCs are just as worthy, even though I'm going to stop saying that word. All people are worthy of developing and transforming and having our help, or their help, find their own path. So with love, light and life, I continue to develop myself and hope that you are as well. And I thank you all for your comments. I thank you for the thank yous when people have pressed the thank you button. And maybe we'll walk this path together in light, love and life.